All right, guys, thank you so much for coming back to my channel and for tuning in. This is psychic medium Raymond Guzman, and today I'm going to be doing a celebrity psychic reading on Nicki Minaj. So, when I tune into Nicki, I'll just dive straight into the psychic reading. When I tune into Nicki, I get that she is a very strong person. I get that she's very outspoken and she does have a funny side and very down to earth. What I see for the remainder of 2018 going into 2019 for Nicki are that there are some challenges ahead. Okay, so we know that she is coming out with an album on June 5th, June 15th or somewhere around June 2018. And the album's title is going to be called Queens, I believe. I feel like the album itself is going to be critically reviewed. There's going to be a lot of positive buzz around it, but there's also going to be a lot of critics that like to tear people down. And so I feel like she's going to be receiving a lot of positive feedback. Some people are deeming this her comeback because she has stepped away from making an album. She's been producing music and making music, having collaborations ever since her last album was released. And we've seen a lot of songs with Ariana and other artists, out there that she's collaborated with. But I do see that this album is not going to be received the way that, her record label would have expected, or they predict that it will have a huge success that it's going to have. Yes, it's going to be successful. Yes, there are going to be record sales, but when it comes down to it, will the album have longevity? Will it be able to stay on top of the charts for weeks and weeks upon end? I get that it will stay for a couple of weeks. It will break a lot of records, but I do get that it will not have the same success that her previous albums have had. And so a lot of people may be tearing me down, in comments and thinking that, oh, well, you're wrong, that you're wrong and you're not a Nicki fan. I am a Nicki fan. And I really like Nicki's music. Nicki, the person itself, her demeanor and stuff. I'm going to explain why a lot of people have a lot of big misconception around her. We see Nicki and we've seen, the scandals that she's had with a lot of other females and males in her life. But you have to understand that she is one of the few rappers out there, female rappers, who is on top of the game and really is making a name for herself. So when I come into Nicki's energy, I feel like she has to be this tough cookie, this tough person, in a man's world. And I say that not because I'm being, taking the man's side, but the like I've said in previous videos, the record industry is a very much male-dominated world, and so it's very rare that we see MCs or we see female rappers. The one prior to Nicki that was really successful was Missy Elliott, and Missy Elliott just disappeared off the map. I mean, we still hear about her, and we still see some of her music, but she has not had any kind of big, huge success like Nicki has. So when Nicki burst onto the scene, she had a lot of success. But like I said, a lot of the scandals that we see, a lot of it is all hype from the media. A lot of it are lies just to make her, look in a certain way. But she's a very smart businesswoman, and hasn't gotten to the level of success that she has by, just burning bridges. She's very, and not, not being strategic. Every move that Nicki makes is very strategic, but I do feel like there is a rough period that she's also experienced in her personal life that is very much associated in the next 3 to 4 months, starting now. So right now we're starting to see her reemerge, make public appearances, but I feel like her life is far from perfect, far from happy. Even though she has all the success, deep inside, Nicki Minaj is not happy. And the reason for that is because, again, there's a lot of criticism and she tries to ignore it, but they're also putting her against, other female artists and trying to create this rivalry to sell tabloids and stuff like that. I also feel like in her family, in her personal life, there's an ending. There's something that's coming to an end. This could be a relationship that or even in her own love life that she has been holding on to. And a lot of people, think that they know who she's dating or who she's not dating or who she's seeing because they see it on the tabloids, and that's not true. But I do feel like there is a guy that she's very much invested in, but that relationship is very much on the rocks and is going to be ending here soon. So that is what I'm getting in that area. As far as her financial situation going into 2019, I see that she will continue to have a lot of money being generated. I also see, like, she's looking at like Rihanna and a lot of these other female singers, or females out in the industry that are branching out into doing different projects like with makeup and stuff like that. And with Nicki, I feel like it's more about the clothing and also like just fashion overall. And I feel like she will be partnering with certain designers. So we may even see like her doing promos, advertising, like magazine advertisements with certain designers, or going to certain awards and showcasing those designs like a lot of artists do, but really maybe just sticking with one particular designer in all. But as far as her financial situation is concerned, she is almost like an empire now. She has made a lot of good investments, but when it comes to her money, like I said, there's been a lot of battle with her and her record company, and I feel like because she is a female, she does often feel like they don't pay her exactly, or she doesn't get the pain, because all of her record sales, it's like a filtered situation. She has to pay the people who work for her, the publicists, and by the time she gets to touch the money that comes in, it's not exactly what you would think that a person of her nature would be getting, which would be tons of millions of dollars. It's just, people just have this idea that because they're celebrities and they're making millions, that they actually see every single ounce of that, and that's not the case. But she is okay financially. She is well off. She's not suffering, or I don't see struggles. But I do feel like she is, talking with her record company and telling them, that she wants more royalties. She wants to kind of like change things, and they listen to her. But ultimately, there's a lot of like where she feels sometimes that they're not listening to her because she's a female, and so she's having to do that. I also feel like I know that she's very close to a Little John or Lil Wayne. I can't remember the name of the rapper, but I think it's Lil Wayne, that she's very close to. And I feel like he's turning his back on her. So I feel like when it comes to money, either Lil Wayne is doing something different. I don't know. I just get that, that there's something that there's someone is turning their back on her, and it's in the record company. And I feel like this is more with artistic vision. Again, she's having to really fight for her ideas on what she wants, and the record company may have a different idea of what should be her next single, what where she goes to film the video, and all of that is taken into consideration. I also get that they are working Nicki a lot. She's working herself a lot. She really needs to take good care of herself. I don't see that she gets good sleep. Very minimal. I feel like she's always stressed, and it in her abdominal region, mainly where her intestines. She may have some issues there with digestion and the lower intestine. In these areas. So I get that there's a lot of things that are affecting her health, and it's mainly the stress. And we look at celebrities and we try to dissect them and say, oh well, how stressful can their life be? They eat bonbons, and they eat grapes all day and just sit down and have people fan them. And that's not the case. They really do work hard to promote themselves, and to really stay on top of the game, because like I said, one day you're in, the next day you're out. And what I mean by that is that you could be at the very top of the height of your popularity, and there's a new artist like Cardi B, and Cardi B's on this, in this spotlight now, and there's a lot of rivalry. When we looked at the Met Gala, which just happened a couple of days ago, they were there, her and Cardi B, and there was a moment that they exchanged some conversation. A lot of people were thinking, well, did they have beef? Is there something that they needed to talk about? And what I get is that those two women, they really don't really like each other. And I'm going to be honest. Um, I don't feel like Nicki, really likes Cardi, because I feel like she thinks that Cardi is maybe a copycat, in so many ways, but she can't say that, because the tabloids would automatically have, but I feel like there's been conversations that Nicki has had about Cardi, and key people that Nicki trusts or thinks that, are very, trustworthy, have actually went to, and somehow the word has gotten back to Cardi, and Cardi is also very intuitive herself, and so she knows when she spots somebody that is maybe, lying or not, being authentic with her, and maybe is talk smack about her, and Cardi is going to address it. So I feel like that conversation that was exchanged, there was pleasantries, and kind of like, trying to get to the situation. It's almost like, this, I heard that somebody said this and this and this, so I don't know what the truth is, but we're here, celebrating, and so let's just let it go. But I feel like there's always going to be, as long as Cardi B is in the picture, there's always going to be that rivalry that is created by the people, by her fans, by Nicki fans and Cardi B fans, but also because Cardi is very talented, and is also like a breath of fresh air when it comes to, her music and style, and it's very different than what Nicki is putting out. Um, so right now, what I see for Nicki is that she is turning to more to her spiritual side, to her spirituality. Believe it or not, I feel like she has, tried to. She's not very religious. I get that she has kind of deviated away from her faith, but now something is happening in her life where she is really turning to her spiritual side, and maybe even to God, and where she is trying to, wanting to change a lot of the way that she deals with things, her attitude towards things, her perspective, her vision, how she sees things, and how she interprets it. So she's really coming into herself and growing as a woman. I feel like right now she has thought about the idea of having children, but I feel like medically, this is something that she is going to struggle with, and I don't know at this point, I'm not God, so I don't have all the answers, and psychics, we don't have all the answers. But what I get intuitively is that she may not ever be able to get pregnant, so she may go the surrogate route if she was to decide to have children. But I feel like also that there is some kind of thought, when it comes to having children, that she may not want to. Uh, maybe things that she went through in childhood, she doesn't want to see repeated, and she would need to have a stable relationship in marriage. And when it comes to marriage, I don't see her marrying. I feel like this is the path that she may have a long-term partner who she is with, but I do not see marriage for Nicki. And it would be, it would shock me if she does go that route, but what I see right now in her path and her age, she is, I believe, 35, going to be 36 in December, or somewhere around that time. But I don't feel like I see any kind of marriage for her. I feel like she's more invested into um, her career, her finances, and she's really trying to, like, expand that. But I also feel like there's a lot of darkness that surrounds her, and she feels lost at times. So she has to kind of like find that light again, And so how she's doing this is maybe turning to her spirituality, maybe to people who she feels like she can trust or openly talk to. I also feel like, and what I see is that in the next year or so, we're going to see a couple more scandals. This could be people that were close to her, that worked for her at one time, that no longer do, maybe suing her, or someone that is going to personally attack her or air out dirty laundry, things that Nicki has done that maybe the media has not been aware of. So I feel like there are going to be some scandals surrounding Nicki, and it's going to kind of uh, be something that's unexpected, that she may not be seeing, but she is trying to be prepared for. And again, when you're in the celebrity spotlight, you're a celebrity, we are going to see a lot, as people, we're going to see a lot of scandals around celebrities because they are well known, because they have money, they have, success. So while I see that there is somebody that's going to attack her character, and there's going to be someone, like I said, that this is a male that's going to be attacking her character and causing drama in her life. I get that there's another male who is going to be coming to her rescue and sort of, downplaying a lot of this rumors or lies that are being fabricated against her. And I do get essentially that this is going to be like a lie against Nicki Minaj. And you could say it's like a setup, but I feel like it's all lies. But there is a guy who is the opposite of the guy that is going to attack on a global on a social media, and taking to the, interviews and stuff like that to shame her or to kind of throw shade towards her. And another guy's going to come in, and that's a celebrity, very powerful, very established, that knows Nicki. And it could be like another singer, that's going to come out and be talking to her defense. For the most part, that situation will be come out with a positive outcome for Nicki. I see her walking away from that, kind of laughing, kind of like nice try, but you couldn't, bring me down. And that's what I kind of get in that situation. I also see that when it comes to that, there is another male that, and I feel like this guy may be actually foreign himself, that is very interested in Nicki, and he may be courting her as well. But as far as the attention that she gives him, it may or may not be. It's just going to depend on where she is in life. And I feel like when we go into like February of next year, in particular, February and March, she has in February two decisions to make. And the decisions are around her life. This could be around property, real estate that she has already bought, but I get that there is like two decisions and two roads that she has to kind of take, whether or not she's going to be going, in selling some property, or she's going to decide to, hold off on it. But there's a major kind of life decision that she has to make, but the outcome of it after she does that is very positive. And so it's, I see her celebrating. It's nothing but good news. But at the moment when it happens in February, around February, March, she's going to feel kind of like, well, what should I do now? I have all these projects going on. What should I do with this personal situation in my life? And she actually makes the right decision. So overall, that was my psychic reading, what I see for Nicki Minaj for the remainder of 2018 and 2019. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. If you did like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and Instagram. And if you'd like to set up a private reading with me, and go to my website. It's www.raymondguzman.net/shop. Blessings and love and light to all of you. Thank you.